The Batman Who Laughs has secretly infected 6 members of the DC superhero universe, and only the world's finest can unravel the plot. All this and more in Batman Superman issue number 2. Let's hop on in together and find out what happens next, shall we? Alrighty then, so picking up from where the last issue left off, Bruce and Clark had ended up coming face to face with the Shazam Who Laughs, a corrupted version of Billy Batson turned to the dark side by Nth Metal, as well as a cocktail of dangerous dark universe drugs administered by the Batman Who Laughs. And you know Billy isn't old enough for cocktails yet, so add that to the ever-growing list of villainy from the Batman Who Laughs. As it would turn out, the Shazam Who Laughs actually proves quite a challenge for both Batman and Superman. He's magical, which has never boded well for either the Man of Steel or the Dark Knight. But perhaps the most devious trick this dark doppelganger can play is just when Superman thinks he actually has the upper hand on the foe, he decides to transform back into poor defenseless Billy Batson and play on Superman's own inherent goodness. Superman's inability to deliver the final punch, too, actually ends up causing quite a rift between him and Batman during the fight. Batman has no problem stabbing a guy who is also a child sometimes. Why, Batman's even willing to go as far as to sacrifice his own body and his own Batplane if it means getting that much closer to the Shazam Who Laughs, and not a moment, too, as he had planned to transform Superman as well. Batman ends up paying quite dearly for this rather reckless course of action and gets his bell rung so bad Superman has to break off the fight and take him back to the Fortress of Solitude so he can go into his own healing coma. Obviously, this kind of loss wounds Batman's ego rather deeply, and now that the Shazam Who Laughs is gone, they no longer have any clues to go off of. Well, except for the Nth Metal Batarangs themselves. It's from that our heroes are able to extrapolate that they were each specifically designed to transform a particular hero. This is really bad news because if Billy is any indication, this means that any of their friends could have been turned already and they would have no idea of knowing. That means that somewhere out there are 6 sleeper agents waiting to tear the DC universe apart. All this news ends up hitting Batman rather close to home. After all, he spent sleepless nights creating plans to take down any of his own friends in case they should turn, you know. They wrote that whole Tower of Babel story about it. The only problem is he never imagined a scenario wherein he would be the one causing people to turn, or an evil version of himself, I should say. Now, it's not like Batman and Superman can just go along to all of their different friends and start interrogating them to see which one of them have turned. That would take way too long, and it would also end up tipping their hand. But what if they didn't have to? What if they could trick the bad guys into thinking their plan went off without a hitch to transform Superman too? Well, to do that, they're gonna have to do something really dangerous and really risky. For you see, the plan is for Superman to pretend to be infected and then go to break out the Batman Who Laughs from his prison under the Hall of Justice. And no, the irony isn't lost on me either that when the Legion of Doom had the Batman Who Laughs hostage, they also decided to keep him under their base, and you all know how that turned out for Lex and company, right? And so that was Batman Superman issue number 2, everybody, and I thought it was good. Not great, but good. Truth be told, I actually thought this whole Secret Six, Batman Who Laughs, changing members of the Justice League into evil versions of themselves was only going to be handled here through the pages of this book, but now I know it's actually going to be a big event unto itself during the Year of the Villain. That's not an inherently bad thing, but it also means that this new series is going to have to take its time, go a lot slower, and set up a bunch of different stuff where I just kind of wish they could punch on ahead with the story. On the upside, Williamson does continue to wring some good material out of the Batman-Superman relationship. I dig Batman waking up all upset and breaking stuff in the Fortress of Solitude only for Superman to say, hey, I don't break your stuff when I'm at your place. Evil Shazam actually proving to be a match for Batman and Superman because of his magical abilities and the ability to turn into a kid was a nice touch. I hope they continue to do that with all the other members of this evil Secret Six and how they might actually have some curveballs for our heroes. Then, of course, you have the matter of the Batman Who Laughs, a villain who is really broken on through and who I definitely enjoyed in the beginning, but who I fear is kind of at the risk of getting overexposed right now. I hope Joshua Williamson can add a different dimension to the character that we haven't seen yet. Overall, though, I would give this one a 7.5 out of 10. Hey there, everyone. Caped Jewel again, and I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you see, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. It really helps drive engagement and helps me out, too. Also, if you are a patron, which you can become for as little as $1 a month, you will get exclusive content that no one else can ever see, and you'll get to see the Comic Multiverse podcast before anyone else too. You can check out all this and more down in the description. And until next time, everyone, this has been Caped Joel, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.